STIJF. She walked down the sloping driveway and looked at the house. The driver was leaning against the car, his arms crossed on the roof. In it someone read a Chinese newspaper. The woman was standing next to the car with the pension owner. They were silent. Hella felt the space in her neck like a raised fur collar, in her legs the hours of sitting in the car. On a rocky elevation, covered with frozen creepers, the house seemed even bigger, an architectural fever dream of terraces, verandas, balconies, stairs to yet other terraces, caves, niches, cisterns, doors bricked up and broken through again, and small towers in height. And roof gardens in stories of brick, natural stone, wood, slate, sandstone. The house was not built but had grown like a tree. Hella looked at the stronghold and felt stage fright as she would turn and see what the house was looking at. It looked into a vast space. In a green depth of trees, past office buildings, hollow and staring as if inhabited by the sky, a street snaked down to an iron bridge in the distance, beneath which lay the river between broad meadows. On the other side of the Amstel River, the city lay, an endless surf of houses and offices, streaked with white mist. Beyond that, to the southeast, where the surf ran, rows of blue houses rippled deep into the distant horizon. Hella didn't move anymore. It had been a hot day. Far away from a factory chimney, a white snake crawled over the sinking fields. She looked up, not at the sky but at something above the city that wasn't there, nothing but breathless space.
In Ukraine.
Навести орудия. Необходимо просто навестись в этом направлении. Я 95, Лампаса слышал, связь Лампаса. Не разбираю, прием.
Listen for
Дошли от населенного пункта мошенники дали откат. Плюсом МТЛБ осталось там, разбитая. Прием. Калиновка, Попылов, мошенники, ясного роста.
Мы переехали с Сучарой.
within hours.
Я Юг-95. Сбили вражескую вертушку. Двумя стрелами. Прием. Одну вертушку. Двумя. Прием. В ваших интересах через 10 минут начинает работать штурмовая авиация. Как понял, прием? Снег 02, понял.
Дайте приемка, прием.
Я Юг-95. Прием. Было принято решение убрать первое хозяйство от населенного пункта и накрыть населенный пункт артиллерией. Прием. Медленнее, говори еще раз, повтори. Убрать первое хозяйство от населенного пункта и накрыть населенный пункт артиллерией. Прием.
Клумбу переехали с Сучарой.
Ю-95 сбили вражескую вертушку двумя стрелами. Прием. Одну вертушку двумя. Прием. Вас интересах. Через 10 минут начинает работать штурмовая авиация. Как понял, прием. Нет, 02.
Occasionally during the day, earlier at school, during class, she couldn't understand it. It never meant anything that came out of that city. Out of the corner of Hella's eyes approached the pensioner, and two figures, who suddenly belonged in her life. Her legs hummed behind a haze of blonde hair. Around her neck hung a gold chain with a baby tooth on it. Is our distant guest meditating? I can tell you something interesting. He came and stood next to her. Grey and stocky, he wore a skipper's sweater and smoked from a bent pipe. The captain of his house, a ship that sailed through the valley. He flipped into his slippers and thrust his fists forward into his trouser pockets. He's Putin himself, she thought, as he tried to shut off a dripping tap. Soon I will laugh at you, now I have no time. Do you mind living here? On the contrary, she did not look at him. Everything is always full downstairs, he said. Sometimes 6 invasions at once. Putin is good at invasions. Single quote. Her face was strong, it looked 35 years old but was presumably younger, a body ripe and lovely, a rose of Sharon, all destined to grow into a matron who sits in the chair of her past. Not in the semi-ecstatic and draconian, somewhere in her life a crosswind must have blown up that had blown her off course, to airports where Chinese and Americans landed, to conferences in ruined cities, and to condescending, presumably politically untrustworthy boarding houses. He called Hella into a bay window, where he covered a table with papers and groped around searching. He gave her some booklets and papers. Here's your memory. You have written to us that you will not give a speech, but will you not say a few words about the state of therapy in the Ukraine? It would be of great interest to the soldiers. For the first time since the greeting at Houthoff Putin headquarters, she looked straight into his face, and she knew he wondered what she looked like with her beautiful eyelids and upper lip. A baboon, she thought now, a baboon, by God. Her face held steady, waiting for an answer. I'm here to learn something, said Hella.
Russia. As for our They are highly inaccurate and can therefore cause civilian casualties. While the UK, even when Russia is struggling with its limited ammunition in the Ru-777 howitzer unit is worth at least 3 Russian howitzer units. Artillery will be more and more decisive in the